what if Luffy had the mimic know me. Before we start, if you like the video, like it, share with your friends, comment, and let's start the video. Announcements. All, thanks for the kind words. JACKE, I agree with your assessment about women. Though this person may play a more active role much later. Not sure on revolutionary, Luffy just wants to help. As far as treasure, will if they don't eat everything they find a lot. LOL, probably get some of Luffy's, he is after adventure and king of pirates, not gold. Also her priority might shift to two important things for her. The Demon Slayer, thank you so much for your words, and I plan on him trying to slip in when he thinks nobody is looking later in the Grand Line, but finding time to be alone to train will be hard. You will see. All, sorry it has taken so long to get back to writing this piece. The good news is my wife is almost back to perfect. Better than before. It is almost like I have my wife from 3 years ago, except endurance. My creative writing has returned. The reason this took so long is because I came up with another One Piece idea. It took quite a while to get all of the details worked out. I am combining One Piece with elements from the Percy Jackson series. It is actually more of a fusion of the gods influencing the One Piece world. Also, it is much more violent. Be warned, Luffy is just as subject to kill rather than knocking unconscious. Going for a mix of Clint Eastwood bravado and Wolverine willingness to maim for Luffy. And yes, for those wondering, Luffy is a demigod. The will of A.D. Poseidon's blood. I am going to do both stories, just took a while to get the details to flow adequately. I have written about 20,000 words in the first 4 chapters. Also, that world will be maybe 60% canon. Ages will change, new people born, some never died, and a different devil fruit. MDM 11, hate to have too many spoilers, but I have already figured out a special training program for the 3 of them. So yes, they are coming. Olga, as much as I want to jump to lots of powers, I also want to show the growth in relationships and new characters also. Plus, as subtle differences start to become bigger, there will also be more changes in other characters' abilities. Disclaimer, I don't own One Piece or any of its characters. Thoughts example. Words example. Noise. Action. As we sail away, I can't help but feel scared. I am leaving the one thing that has made me feel safe outside of the house and memories of Belmere. I actually believe he will get me the remaining money and I can give him the map, then with everyone safe from Arlong I might be able to sail free. Maybe I can go with him and he will need a navigator. As I think this, I see him wave one final time. Who am I kidding? Arlong will never let me go once the village is free. I will be locked in that room again drawing sea charts for the rest of my life. I hate how dark my thoughts get without his strength near me. I never thought I would really so much on another. Steadying myself, I turn and walk to the helm and turn to home. I will keep them safe. Not like I did with Luffy at Buggy's camp. This time I must be strong for my crew. I lose the strength in my legs sitting on the seat as I think my crew. Before I had much time to think about my slip up, Johnny walked up. Looking at me with a worried face, he spoke up. I don't mean to question your navigation skills, but do you know where we are going? As I looked at him funny, he continued. I mean, whose territory it is we are entering. Sighing, I nod at him. Get Usopp and Yosaku. And meet me at the lower helm. Securing the wheel, I go inside and switch the controls to inside. After everyone was there, I secured the wheel and turned around and sat on the bench facing the rear of the ship, wanting to be anywhere but here. Luffy and I have a temporary alliance. Waiting for this to sink in. I work for Arlong as a cartographer. He lets me leave the island because we have a deal that if I give him a large sum of money he will free my village. This is a private deal between the two of us. Only my sister and Luffy know of this outside of our Long's crew. With a stern glare I continue. The only reason I am telling all of you is this ship is too big for one person, and more importantly Luffy trusts all of you. Watching them nod. Luffy trusts me to keep all of you safe. I will try to keep us hidden, but if not, the story is we stole this ship and you three are here as deckhands because that work is below fishermen. The reason why is I can't breathe underwater, and if I had a mobile place to draw and keep my charts dry, I can complete making them that much faster. That will probably give us a few days before he decides to do something. By then Luffy will be here to take all of you away. Looking down. As Johnny gets ready to say something, Usopp spoke up first. No problem, Captain, you can count on us. We will do as you say. Come on you two, let's get more familiar with the rigging. If we are going to make this believable, we need to understand how this ship works inside and out. As they exit the room and he starts to go over the rigging with them, I know something is up. As long as they follow what I say to keep them safe, I don't care what they think about me. Wiping a tear away as they go to the front mast to explain its rigging. As I walk to the front rigging, I know Nami is looking at us. Look guys, I know Luffy. He saved my village and never asked for anything. Yes, Kaya gave him this ship, but he never asked. The point is Luffy would never leave a friend hurting, and from what I have seen, Nami is more than a friend to him. I don't know why he stayed, but he let us go into this hostile situation. Something worse was going to happen back there. He has a sixth sense about things, guess Haki helps with that. Luffy will come and fix Nami's situation, but till then we must be strong for her and him. As I finish showing them the front mast, we go to the rear mast. Johnny asked me, "Why aren't you scared?" Oh, I am more than scared without him here, but I have faith he will come when we need him. As I turn to show them the rigging of the rear mast, it takes all my willpower not to let my hands shake. The next morning I go down to let everyone know breakfast is ready. I passed by the executive hallway to the front of the boat. I walked up to knock on Luffy's door. Hearing sobbing coming from inside, I put my ear to the wood. How do you do it? How do you keep smiling? As I leave, I make my way back to the stairs and yell, "Breakfast is ready." Then walk back up. After everyone has eaten, I ask Nami, "What time will we get there?" As she wiped her mouth, she responded, "Tomorrow around 7 a.m. I need to take the long way around to avoid being noticed. Also, if I draw up some maps and charts, it will help convince him this ship is a good idea. So I will be using the dining table and I don't need to be disturbed. I know I am not the best cook, but I can make sandwiches for lunch and soup for supper if it will give you more time." Watching her give me a small smile. I believe that is the first one since we left Luffy. Nami smiling, "Thanks Usopp, that will help a lot." After drawing most of the day when not checking our navigation, Nami relaxed at dinner. "Nami, do you want me to take the first watch? That way you can correct changes later." Nami tenses up. "Why are you being so nice to me, Usopp?" I don't know exactly why. Probably because it is the right thing to do. Don't you deserve good things too? You are helping your town and sister after all. Why should you be treated badly for that? Watching her look down at her empty bowl. For a little while longer let people be nice to you. Nami getting up. "Well, you are right about one thing, if you take the first shift I can correct it. But Yosaku takes the second with waking me to check the heading, then I'm going back to sleep till the last shift. I want to be awake as we get closer." Smiling back at me. As she leaves to go below deck, I turn to the others. "You heard our captain. Get some rest. I have a feeling we are going to need it." As we walk up the hill to the orchard Belmere owned, I feel a hint of regret. I have lost so much and I will again after he leaves. I have the tube on my back with all the drawings I have made. Up ahead I see our home with Nojiko walking out. Hey sis, I am back. As I see her face lighting up, then she sees everyone else. Nojiko, looking at everyone, smiled. So good to see you, Nami. You are just in time to help me in the kitchen. I still can't get your recipe quite right yet. Will you guys excuse us, it's a secret family recipe and all that. As we enter the house, Nojiko shuts the door. What the hell are you thinking? Bringing pirates here of all places when you are so close? What if they find something? Nojiko asked with a worried face. Don't worry, they won't do anything. Nojiko looked shocked. Didn't you learn anything the first time? They will rob you blind if they find out. They already know. Nojiko looked serious. Okay, you've lost it? I will go tell Arlong we got some pirates looking to move in and no problem. Turning to leave. You can't, Nojiko, they're good pirates. Grabbing her arm. Nojiko looks like she has been slapped. Good pirates. Have you forgotten what pirates did to our mother? Getting in Nojiko's face. No, I haven't forgotten, but there is good and bad in every profession in life. On this last trip I have seen butlers try to kill and another jump in front of a blade. A pirate tries to kill a whole town and a different pirate gives away money and saves people's lives. There is good and bad everywhere. Crossing my arms, staring at her. Nojiko squinting her eyes at me. Fine, convince me they are the good ones. Otherwise I am calling Arlong and protecting you from yourself. Mimicking me crossing my arms. Okay, okay. Look, their captain is Luffy and he can tell if someone is not truthful. We had a deal where I was his navigator temporarily and I got a portion of the treasure for a time. He lent me this ship and he is bringing the rest of the treasure to put us over the top. Smiling at her. Nojiko looked shocked. You told him? That's it, he's playing you. I'm getting Arlong. No, wait, he saved my life, I can't let him down again. Grabbing her arm. As Nojiko stared at me. What do you mean again? When I don't answer she sighs. Start from the beginning. I was breaking into a marine base and some guards cornered me. Then he knocked the corrupt leader through the wall on top of the men. I got him caught by Buggy the clown to get Buggy to drop his guard and Buggy set me up to execute him. With a cannon that took out 3 buildings in a row. Looking down. In a shocked voice Nojiko asked. You didn't? Did you? Shaking my head, no. I stopped the fuse, then Luffy relit the fuse. Seeing her shocked face I continue. Didn't put a scratch on him. Later when Buggy was about to skewer me he saved me. Then when I was about to get hit with a chakram to the face he stopped it with his hand. Then when Captain Kuro of 1,000 Plans went to kill me he knocked him into the cliff. Smiling. Nojiko rolled her eyes. I get it, he saved you, that still doesn't make him good. Giving her a stern look. He saved a little girl, ran Buggy out of town, protected a dog's treasure, gave treasure to the town to rebuild from Buggy. Saved a second town from destruction, protected the Lady Kaya from being murdered. Never asking for a goddamn thing. In fact he refused to take credit, giving the credit to others. Standing in her face yelling. And gave me all the belly. Clasping my hand over my mouth. Nojiko's eyes go wide. You're in love with him. I step back. What? No, I am not. Look, just keep them safe. If they are found there is a cover story. They can fill you in. I need to get to Arlong. If he finds me here without checking in he will get suspicious. When Luffy gets here we can finally pay Arlong. The town will be free. Barely holding in the tears, I start to leave. As I make to leave, she doesn't stop me. Watching her storm out, I get worried. As the others give me stern looks after seeing Nami's face. Pointing at the one with the long nose, I tell him, "They take their cues from you, long nose. So come here, we are going to have a talk now." As he follows me in, we sit down at the table. I glare at him. Okay, I have heard my sister's take on this Luffy person, and have decided she is biased. So what can you tell me about Luffy? Long nose clears his throat. Well, my name is Usopp, not Long Nose. And what exactly do you want to find out about? I mean, I have only known him for a couple of days, but during that time I have witnessed him do a lot. That is very vague, Long Nose. And you will remain Long Nose or Nose until I say otherwise. Well, first of all, what is he to Nami, and how did she bring back more money than ever before? Glaring at him. Usopp rubbing his chin. I can answer the second question easier. According to Zoro, Luffy wanted her as a navigator and settled for a temporary alliance where she is a navigator for him in exchange for all the treasure. As my eyes went wide, he continued. Luffy has a way of knowing what people need somehow. He knew Claudador was the notorious Captain Kuro, Django had 2 hidden stashes of cash, and I believe he knew about how much Nami needed the money and gave it to her. I suspect it has something to do with Haki. Fine, he knows things that still doesn't answer how she got the money. Laughing hard, Usopp continues counting off on his fingers. Luffy is super strong, he decimated the Black Cat Pirates' entire crew like it was a joke. Planned a defensive strategy as easy as most people make a shopping list. Beat an entire pirate force with his eyes closed using Haki without getting hit once. Beat Captain Kuro, who could move faster than anyone except maybe Zoro could see, because Luffy is even faster. Oh, and Kuro was worth 16 million. Belly had gloves with 12 knives on each finger. He never got a scratch, leaving Kuro in a coma in a crater with his legs bent at angles that if he woke up he would never walk straight again if they healed. Giving Nami all the money. Yeah, he is super tough. Giving a huff. Why isn't he here then? As Usopp gives what I hope is a thinking look. There was a pirate from Don Krieg's crew that left the Baratai. If he was to bring Krieg back, they would kill everyone there. He must be planning on fighting and bringing the rest of the belly Nami needs. If lives were not at stake, Luffy would never leave Nami at risk. This causes me to raise an eyebrow. Oh, and why do you think that? Usopp with a plain face answers. He cares a great deal for Nami. They have even slept together. Slamming my hands down on the table, standing up, glaring at him. What did you say? Waving his hands in front of him. Not like that. It wasn't his idea. Nami had a breakdown after Luffy shot himself and had nightmares ever since. From what Zoro said. And Nami couldn't sleep without holding onto him like a pillow. So she asked my girlfriend Kaya, whose life Luffy had saved, and put us up for a few days to help her cuddle with Luffy because she was a nervous wreck trying to sleep after that. I don't think they did anything, otherwise Nami would be acting way more embarrassed, I think. As I calm and sit back down, he relaxes. Wow, I mean wow. I would never believe she would be falling for a pirate of all people. Seeing him stare at me, I ask. So Luffy is bringing the rest of the belly? Looking down, Usopp said. Yes. By his shifting posture and how he is not looking at me, I know there is more. What aren't you telling me? Staring at him. Usopp huffed out. Luffy is very insightful. Even I can tell Arlong will not let Nami go after seeing the maps and drawings she made en route here. He isn't coming to pay the rest of the belly, though he will bring it to keep his word. No, the reason he is coming is to set Nami free. As I hear this, my jaw hit the floor and my heart stops for a second. You are kidding? Right? No one is that crazy to challenge Arlong. As Usopp laughed almost out of his chair. Oh, I assure you the only thing greater than his strength is how crazy he is. Well, maybe the other way around. Watching my confused look, he continued. I suppose the only reason it sounds crazy to you or me is because we don't know how strong he is. When I saw him put on a blindfold and walk toward a whole crew, I thought crazy. When he didn't get hit once after going at it for over a minute looking like he was doing a coordinated dance routine. Well, I then think power. Who would guess it was in him with him acting like that? As my eyes widen, he continues. I get the feeling me judging his power is like. Well, it's like I am looking at the ocean water wondering how deep it actually is, knowing I really will never know by looking at the surface. As I allow myself to hope for the first time in a long while. Then I remembered Nami. Why did Nami act that way if he is coming to free her? Sighing, Usopp said. Nami doesn't know. As my face falls. She believes she is not worth saving. I believe he didn't tell her because she would do everything in her power to prevent him from coming here to protect him. She cares for him and doesn't want to see him hurt. Smiling back. Well, she will be shocked, that is for sure. I will need more supplies if I am going to make supper for everyone, so let's head to the village. As I am walking through the gate to Arlong Park, I see very few fishmen. I ask the nearest one. Where is Arlong? They answered. He went to confront and deal with someone who got a gun. Thanks. As I left to find Arlong, I started running. Not now. I get to Kokoyashi village and find him about to crush Genzo's head. Hey Arlong, miss me? As he relaxed his grip. I can tell I got his attention. What is the trouble? Surely Genzo did not disobey the law. Giving Genzo a glare. Arlong smiled wickedly. Actually, he defied my orders by possessing a pistol. Looking back at him. Oh, did you get me a revolver or a single shot? As Arlong looked shocked and confused, he said. What? I rolled my eyes. I asked him to get me a pistol to defend myself with before I left. My staff is great at hand-to-hand, but at a distance I need something. Arlong gets a devilish grin. Nami, I am hurt you didn't come to your crew. We are family now. Watching everyone present flinch except me because I have played this game before. Taping my chin. I remember something you told me when I first started. I have to be self-reliant, no free rides, everyone has to pull their own weight. So I know Genzo knows guns and will get a pistol that will not backfire on me. I had one of the pirate guns I was training with backfire and decided if I get one it needs to be dependable. Smiling at using his own words against him. As he smiled back, I knew I was in trouble. So you have been practicing? Any good? Decent. Why do you ask? Trying not to show how nervous I am. Arlong is still holding Genzo. Well, let's set up a test. Chu shoots all of the clothes off the clothesline at the end of the street except the yellow placemat. Well, if you are not just trying to lie to help him, you can hit that target at 200 feet easy. If you can't, he is getting it for himself and he deserves to be executed. Also, if he gave you a faulty pistol, he deserves to be executed for putting you in a bad situation. So if you don't hit near the center, I will execute him here and now. Smiling at me. As I take the gun Chu handed to me, I know my bluff is called, but there is nothing I can do. Taking my time aiming as best I can, I pray. I aim as best I can, then as I slowly pull the trigger I close my eyes. As I open them, the placemat is hanging from only one clothespin. Arlong started to snarl. You go check it out, telling one of the townspeople. As they get there they bring back the mat with the hole just off of the center. Arlong, putting on a familiar smile, says, "I guess you weren't lying after all. You can understand how coincidental it looks." As he glared at Genzo and let him down. "Thanks for the vote of confidence." Putting the gun in my belt behind my back, one of the men Paisaro walked up. "Boss, there is a pirate ship off the far side. It must have come through the coral reefs." "Damn it." Clearing my throat, I glare at Paisaro. "You ruined my surprise." As Arlong looked at me confused, I turned to him. "While I was out I visited a naval base along with later robbing some pirates. One of them had a nice ship, but I found out his crew hated how childish he acted. So I convinced them that they could do better for some of their captain's treasure, that is." As he slowly smiled, I continued, "We stole the ship. I figure you can place a merchant mark on it traveling to marine ports or rich cities. Drowning up diagrams and charts, making it easier to walk right in and take over. As the townspeople look at me like a traitor. Just a little longer, hold it together." As we were coming back I drew up these charts of the islands I visited and sketches of the base. As I pull out at least 17 drawings. Most 3 feet by 2 feet from the roll. As he looked at them he smiled. As Arlong thumbs through them he asked, "And what of the crew now that you're here?" "Well, manning a ship is beneath fishmen, and it would give a good cover for other ships to see people manning the sails. We could modify some of the cabins to house fishmen, giving a fighting force to attack the port from inside as a surprise. Also some of the rooms can store the charts I create." As he stopped and raised an eyebrow at me. "That is till we get back here." Arlong rolled up the papers. "I like it, Nami. We may make an executive officer out of you yet. However, I want to meet them tomorrow around lunch. Also let them know if they step out of line." In the most dull, emotionless tone ever. "They're dead." As he puts the papers in the tube I handed him he turned to leave, then stopped. "I trust you want to see Nojiko, and since you have made these lovely charts, take the day off and bring the sailors by tomorrow at lunch. I would like to judge their character personally." "Sure thing." After they leave I head towards Genzo and I look at him sternly. "You owe me one." Then Sally pulled out a big clothespin with a chip out the side. "Or someone else." This was done by a bullet, all the rest Cho just hit the clothes, making the garment shredded, or the clothespin popped loose onto the ground. Except this one. As I started to shake I told them, "Just don't do anything else. Not now please, otherwise it will ruin everything." Starting to leave, Genzo asked, "Are you okay?" Rubbing my shoulders I answer, "I have not held a gun ever since." "Well, ever. I got to go. Walking towards Belmir's grave I think. Please get here soon, I need you, Luffy." As we enter the town I hear Nojiko say, "Where is everyone? It is like dead." As we hear a commotion farther in she said, "Come on, Long Nose and company, but keep quiet." As I give her the stink eye we go through the back alleyways. As we see a shark fishman about to squeeze someone's head off I get ready to shoot a flaming star at him, then we hear Nami's voice. As we listen we hear her try to talk her way out. Since it looks like it is working we relax. However, when we listen to the conditions Nojiko gasps, putting her hand over her mouth. I ask, "What is it?" Nojiko looks scared. Ever since our mother was shot she wouldn't go near a gun. She can't make that shot. I grabbed her shoulders and whispered to her as to not be heard by the fishman. "Get it together now. Keep focused on Nami and nod hard when she pulls the trigger." Motioning to Johnny and Yosaku to raise me up to the roof. I find a clear spot on the to see the placemat and Nojiko I aim. Okay, not too perfect center, not too far off. I can do that. Please Miss Nami, there can't be two holes. As my hand starts to hurt from keeping the tension, I see Nojiko nod, releasing the shot at the same time as I hear the crack of the gun. As I heard Arlong tell someone to check, I hurry to the edge and jump into Johnny and Yusaku's arms. All three of us hide. We see some women running past us, then run back again to Arlong. As we hear Arlong tell Nami how he was sorry he doubted her, and we left to the docks. Nojiko came up and gave me a hug, then hit me in the shoulder. You are all right in my book, Usopp. If you are any indication of the people on your crew, or your captain, I just might rethink how I feel about pirates. As Arlong is sitting on his chair, Hatchin comes up to him. What's wrong, boss? You look troubled. Arlong rubbing his chin. It's Nami, she's different. Bold, confident, some might call her almost defiant. The only time I see her like that is when she thinks she has won or almost won. Looking at Chu. Call Nezumi and tell him I want him to raid Nami's orchard tomorrow morning. He is looking for 100 million belly. Tell him he can have 15% if he gets there between sunrise and noon. I want to see her face when she comes here after losing everything. Smiling as Chu left to make the call. Scratching his head, Hatchin asked. Boss, why are you taking Nami's money away? Didn't you make a deal with her for her village? Arlong glared at Hatchin and said. Do you know anything about humans? Watching Hatchin scratch his head. Human children without hope are nothing but mindless sea urchins. Which is fine for most, but Nami has a rare talent. As a child without hope, her drawings become nothing more than scratches on paper rather than an artwork. So I gave her just enough to keep her gift alive with that stupid price for her town. However, I believe the way she is acting, she has met or is near her goal. So now it is time to crush her and bring her under my heel. The fear of her sister's death and her town will work just as good on an adult as my deal did for a kid. She will always and forever be under my control. That evening I fixed dinner for everyone, not seeing Nami. I am going to find Nami. As I leave, I go to the one place I know she will be. Walking up to Belmir's grave, I see Nami there sitting in front of it. Hey Nami. Thought I may find you here. As she turns with tears running down her face. What is wrong? Sniffling, Nami said. I almost got Genzo killed. Sitting beside her, I answer. No, you didn't, you saved him. I heard about it from the townspeople. Watching her shake her head. Nami rubbing her nose. I missed. Sally told me so. I don't know how, maybe if it was Usopp, I have seen him shoot. If he was nearby. But not me. After a long pause, Nami speaks again in a weaker voice. I want you to leave with Luffy. What? Nami looking dead at me. You have to go. Once the town is free, he won't have it to hold against me. Then he will never let me leave that room again. Unless he gets you. As she stared at me, I realized she always knew Arlong would never free her. It was always about everyone else for her. What about Luffy? Can't he help? As Nami looked back at the grave. He is not a fishman. He will never win against one. But he can keep you safe if all of you leave fast enough. Then I will be happy. Arlong got his fishman superiority bullshit into her. She has given up on herself also. She just thought she could free us. Smiling at Nami. Okay, how about you come home and we eat together? If I am going to leave with them, we can at least have a final supper together. As she wiped her tears away and started to smile, I tell her. We can even cuddle up like we did as kids to chase the nightmares away. Seeing her give a weak nod. You better be all Usopp thinks you are, Luffy. Otherwise I will hunt you down and kill you myself. I thought as I place my arm over Nami to hold her close as we walk back to the house. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, subscribe to my channel for more fan fictions like this, and goodbye.